Have you ever set a communication goal? Maybe one to speak up in a meeting or to set a very clear boundary or to have that tough conversation, only to find yourself repeating the same behaviors and patterns that you're trying to not do anymore. In this episode, we will walk through a six-step framework to uncover hidden commitments, big assumptions, and things that are keeping you from the real change you want to make. By the end of this episode, you'll have a practical way to test all the assumptions we're making and to move forward with clarity and change.
Before we get into that, just want to read a review. Working Mama 16 said, "This is a great show that brings fresh perspectives to an age-old pattern. They provide clear and useful takeaways for professional and personal relationships. An overall great listen. If this podcast has helped you navigate your relationships or communicate more clearly, we'd love it if you'd leave a quick review. It really helps more women like you find the show. Or at least just take 30 seconds to share this episode with a friend or someone who is ready to grow."
Welcome to Communication Skills for Working Women. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Rose May. Do you find yourself second guessing or avoiding conversations because you're worried about being misunderstood?
You're not alone. On this show, we're sharing tangible tools for assertiveness, emotional resilience, and real-life communication wins and fails.
Let's sharpen our communication together.
For years, I thought if I just tried harder to speak up, I'd become more assertive. I would set goals, I made promises to myself, and yet the patterns just didn't change. Or if I did speak up, I just felt awful after I did it. We are going to share with you today the six-step process that can reveal what's holding you back and help you move forward in the relationships that matter most. Whether those relationships are at work or at home, in your community, this six-step process can help any relationship that you find yourself struggling with in the communication realm. If this six-step process that we're going to go through with you resonates with you in any way, we invite you to apply to our Beta Communication Skills Workshop, where we are going to go into this process and work through each one of these steps together. We are offering it at a deeply discounted price. You will never see this price again. And to apply, go ahead and grab that application in the show notes. We're running it the last 2 weeks of October in 2025 and the first 2 weeks in November of 2025.
So think about this. Maybe your communication goal is to speak up with confidence in meetings. I actually just talked to someone who was expressing this problem with in a relationship with a parent, a parental figure. But when the moment comes, your heart races, your mouth goes dry, and you say, "I don't have anything to add," or you decide to stay silent. And then afterwards, you wonder, why didn't I just say what I needed to say? It's not a lack of willpower. It's your internal system, your nervous system probably committed to your worries and your assumptions. And today we're going to shine a light on that system and how to get out of that trap.
Okay, we are going to fly through these 6 steps. The first step is to identify your communication goal. You really need to get very, very clear. We talk about clarity all the time. Get clear on the one thing that you're trying to work on. Every single one of us has a bucket full of communication skills that we need to improve on. Pick one and get clear on that. Here's an example. You want to speak up in your team meetings, and you want to do this with clarity and without apology. So you may also say, "I'm not really sure where to start. I have so many things," or "I'm great at communication. I'm fine." We've created a communication skills assessment that helps uncover these gaps. You'll have access to that in the Beta Communication Skills Workshop.
The second step is to list the things that you're doing or not doing. And I think that sometimes the not doing gets missed. So list the things that you are doing or not doing that are preventing you from accomplishing this goal. So here you're really focusing on behaviors, not feelings. And while the feelings matter, those are things you can work out with your therapist. We're really here to change the behavior. So an example of this would be I avoid eye contact, or I soften my statements with just or sorry, or I let the conversation end without raising my point. Be objective in this step and list the behaviors that you are currently doing or not doing.
So we have step one, get clear. Step two, list the things that you're doing and not doing. Step three, you're going to list all of your worries. Your worries about making the change that you want to make. So worries arise if you try to make this change, or what if you actually succeed at being that clear communicator that speaks up in meetings? So here's an example. If I speak up, people will think I'm difficult. Or if I succeed, I'll be expected to always be confident. So this is where you list all of the worries you have around your communication goal.
Quick pause. We've got something exciting for you. We're taking a select few individuals for our brand new communication skills workshop to help you get clear, confident, and improve those communication skills so you can thrive at work and at home.
We are only taking a small group through this first round, and it's at a deeply discounted price. You will never ever see this price again. This means you'll save money, get our focused attention to help you break free from the patterns that keep you stuck, and finally communicate with confidence and authenticity.
Spots are limited, so apply now through the link in the show notes. Step 4. What are your hidden commitments? These are the real commitments underneath your worries. I'll give you an example of what this sounds like. If we're even going back to step 3, if I speak up, people will think I'm difficult. That's a worry that I have. Maybe my hidden commitment is I'm committed to being seen as easy to work with. I'm committed to avoiding discomfort at all costs. I've heard people say I'm committed to keeping the peace. I'm committed to being loyal. I'm committed to being the good child or the good spouse or the good partner or the good sibling, right? Those are the commitments that directly conflict with your communication goal. If I'm committed to being seen as easy to work with, it's a lot more difficult to try to speak up in meetings, right? So that's how you uncover what you're truly committed to.
Then step 5 is we are going to experiment on these things. So we've gotten our clear communication goal. We've identified the actions we are taking or the actions we're not taking. We've realized all of the worries that we actually hold around our goal, and we've identified how committed we are to our worries instead of our goal. Now we are going to experiment. You're going to ask yourself, what must I be assuming for this hidden commitment to feel so necessary? Here's an example. I assume that if I disagree, my colleagues will lose respect for me. Or I assume if I disagree, others will think I'm difficult to work with. So you understand these assumptions that you've made, and you are going to design a small, safe experiment to test this assumption. Experiments are not emotional. Right now, I'm homeschooling one of my kiddos, and we run experiments twice a week. It's the least emotional thing that we do in our house. You put out a cup of water, and one with a lid and one without, one evaporates and one doesn't. These are just things that happen that we design, we observe, and we get information from. So with your experiment, you are doing this to gather information. It's not an emotional thing. Here's an example of an experiment. In your next meeting, I'll share one dissenting opinion and observe the response. So in my next meeting, I have the agenda. I know what's going to be brought up. I have feelings that aren't necessarily in alignment with the rest of the team, and I'm going to share one of these feelings and I'm going to observe the response. You're not solving the problem. You're not tracking, did we come to a different conclusion? You are observing how people responded to you sharing your opinion that isn't the same as theirs.
Now, this doesn't mean that you won't feel emotions. It will be very uncomfortable. We're asking you to choose something low stakes, pretty low stakes to start with, right? So that you can get used to and accustomed to making these changes, feeling a little bit of discomfort and experimenting with the assumptions that you've made with your new design. The goal is to collect data and move forward. If I can collect the data with no emotions, just observations, if I can ask myself what actually happened, how did people respond? What did they actually say? Not what you felt, but what did they actually say? And what did you learn from their responses? Then you can reflect and revise your beliefs based on evidence and not fear. Oftentimes, the fears that we hold are responses to other experiences in our lives, and even if that is the case, even if it is the case that you find that perhaps not everyone is responding in a way that would allow you to move forward in the way that you would like to, now you have the facts and you can make a decision based off of facts instead of based off of fear. And that is a very powerful position to be in. So, an example of this would be when I disagreed, people leaned in and considered my idea. My assumption was exaggerated. Oftentimes, you may find that this is the case. And again, there may be times when you don't. In any case, you are now permitted, you are now empowered to make a decision based off of evidence and based off of the courage and bravery that you exhibited instead of the fear.
When you have that clarity in step one, it gives you the courage to run an experiment. And when you have that clarity, it allows your emotions to stay in check because you will have emotions around it, but you want to accomplish this communication goal so much that you're willing to feel a little discomfort and move through an experiment and gain all of that information and then be able to process it. So this week, we invite you to apply for the communication skills beta workshop. We are going to go through these 6 steps in two 50-minute sessions, and we will be sharing with one another. We will be going through these steps in more depth and helping you understand them and working through them in places that you get stuck. We also invite you to join the Facebook group. If you just took notes during this session, you want to share your experiences there, we would love that as well. If this hits home for you, follow us, share this with a friend, and invite someone to join the beta communication skills workshop with you, or invite someone to do it the 2 weeks in October and you do it the 2 weeks in November, and then you can talk about it after.
So, apply for the Beta Communication Skills Workshop. You'll love it. We know you're tired of biting your tongue in meetings and in conversations with people who matter to you, especially when you know your ideas matter. We also know you're tired of trying to set boundaries with family or coworkers only to have them ignored. We know you're tired of feeling like you're not being heard, or worse, misunderstood and stuck in the same conflicts again and again and again. We know you've read the books, you've tried the strategies, but nothing seems to stick. We want you to stop spinning your wheels. We want you to stop carrying the weight of all that frustration, and we want you to finally learn what's been holding you back beneath the surface. And that's exactly what this workshop is designed to do. Over these 2 sessions, we're going to uncover all those hidden barriers that block authentic communication. And then we're going to give you the tools to break free from those old patterns once and for all. So, please gain the confidence you've been looking for. Sign up at or apply at communicateconnectthrive.com. You can also, like Elizabeth said, leave a message on our Facebook page. Develop confidence in relationships through effective communication skills. You can find us on Instagram at Communication Skills for Women. You can email us at communicationskillsforwomen@gmail.com. You can go to our website at communicateconnectthrive.com. We made it so easy for you. All you got to do is click on one of these things, whichever platform is most often used by you.
And
On
we'll have a link directly to apply in the show notes. So you don't even have to go to one of those platforms. You can just go, we'll have an apply link in the show notes.
So easy. We made it could not be easier for you. Oh, Until next time, folks, speak clearly and listen bravely. When you feel confident in your communication, everything changes.
We'd love to hear your wins, failures, and insights on Instagram at Communication Skills for Women. Leave a review and connect with us.
Until next time, speak clearly and listen bravely.